I know why you're clapping. Because of me. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So Kamala Harris appeared on The View today. It took her 10 minutes before she realized it wasn't Animal Planet. She was hawking her new book, where in it she claims when she heard Joe drop out of the race, she was in a room with Joe and two of his closest aides. Yeah, hearing and home medical. Earlier today, President Trump addressed the UN General Assembly. Things got off to an awkward start, though, when he had the first 4 rows deported. During his address, Trump questioned why the UN even exists. Well, sorry, Mr. Trump, the UN week serves a very important purpose, creating hundreds of jobs for the city's hookers. Yeah. It's their holiday season. Keeps them in the black till the next UN week. French President Macron had to get out and walk after police blocked traffic for Trump's motorcade. Macron said he wasn't worried about getting assaulted because he was nowhere near his wife. So good. Perfect. Later tonight, Jimmy Kimmel will return after he was taken off the air. I know. Yeah, and here I thought America had a strict policy against torture. But it's further proof that you can't keep a good black man down. Yeah, it's him. The ladies of The View chimed in about Kimmel, saying, "No one silences us," which is why they play loud music when they're using the bathroom. Noisy bunch. Howard Stern announced he canceled his Disney Plus to protest the suspension of Kimmel. Wow, Disney's never going to get that $9.99 back. So brave. I'm not sure why Stern said it on the air. He could have just called his remaining listener and told him directly. And finally, one of the last surviving actors who played a Munchkin in The Wizard of Oz has died at the age of 94. I think we have a picture. All right. So NBC claims that investigators have found no link between Charlie Kirk's assassin and any left-wing groups. Of course, these are the same people who see no link between the size of Brian Stelter's ass and Reese's peanut butter cups. As for this narrative's timing, all you have to see are the responses, which is, see everyone, no left-wing group was involved in this murder. Well, congrats, NBC, you provided the cover. And you can add that to your other scoops. The laptop is fake, COVID came from bat soup, Trump colluded with Russia, Joe is sharp as a tack. The mainstream media misses more mayhem than a blind cleaning lady at Motel 6. So is it a relief to know that the assassin wasn't part of some radical group? That he was just some guy who acted upon a daily reminder that in order to save democracy, you had to murder someone? True, there were no records of him showing up at the nightly Antifa potluck at the YMCA. He didn't need to. Every single day he was fed the message that all of us are Nazis, fascists, white supremacists. From colleges to comedy shows, you can't escape the brainwash. So the media says, good news, folks, he wasn't radicalized by a group. Yeah, because he was radicalized by you, the media, the constant drumbeat from Democrats, the press, activists who've been screaming for years that people like Charlie aren't just wrong, they're evil. Who needs an armed group having a clandestine meeting in a basement when you have nightly programming on MSNBC? They have more blood on their hands than Jeffrey Dahmer after a first date. I know. Never a second date with him. But if you're thrilled there was no organized group behind this hate, then how do you explain the reaction after the assassination? It wasn't universal horror. No, you had thousands of ghouls cheering his demise. Pop stars, talking heads, teachers, bureaucrats. Antifa wasn't needed because the culture did the work for them. Saying no left-wing group was involved doesn't mean there's no left-wing influence. It means the poison has seeped into the groundwater. You don't need a special club when the entire ecosystem is the club. It's like Charles Manson bragging that he didn't kill anybody himself personally. No, Charlie, it wasn't you, just a gaggle of human scum that you brainwashed. Nope, these creeps gave motive, permission, and the hopes that Kirk's assassin would be seen as a hero. Meanwhile, the same fools now cite bogus studies that say political violence comes from the right. But the stats are less believable than the shoe polish on Jesse's bald spot. Because once you dig into the data, it turns out the fact checkers are about as clean as Hunter Biden's urine. They pad the numbers, twist definitions, and ignore every incident that doesn't fit the script. When the once vaunted Economist magazine cited a study showing that the most political violence is right-wing, they failed to mention that the study by an outfit called the Prosecution Project was run by a self-proclaimed Antifa member. That's like letting Dana lead a study on the advantages of living in a snow globe. And yet the media devoured this fan fiction like it was objective data, coming up with a bogus study to smear the right and laundering it through the media. Rinse and repeat. So you got to wonder, why lie? Why did Jimmy Kimmel blame MAGA for Kirk's death? It wasn't just bad timing. It helped provide cover for future left-wing violence. So don't tell me no group. The group is CNN. The group is Hollywood. The group are the late-night hosts losing millions but still propped up by the networks. The group is every politician who calls half the country Nazis. And they're shocked when some unhinged loser happens to believe them. If you can't see that, it means you're part of that group too. Let's welcome tonight's guest. When he performs, even the crickets have a 2-drink minimum. Writer and comedian Joe DeVito. This Federalist founder fillets liberals like flounder. CEO and co-founder of the Federalist, Sean Davis. Like Shakespeare, she's best at creating drama. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tiff. And that wasn't an eclipse on Sunday. He just stood up to stretch. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. So, Joe, do you think it's a relief to know there was no connection between organized groups and the murderer, that it was just the entire culture?
Yeah, I wonder where else you see this. They're calling people Nazis. Where are they getting this from? From watching reruns of Hogan's Heroes that everybody's a Nazi?
Yeah.
It's so absurd, and like you said, they're saying like, oh, we've just exonerated ourselves.
Yes.
It reminds me of some studies I saw about terrorist attacks, and they said the study started on October of 2001.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, there was kind of a big event the month before that.
Right.
That you've now moved the goal lines on this. So it shows you that they have to create this problem. That's why the Kimmel quote was so bad, because he said, of course this guy's MAGA. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't an opinion. In their minds, something bad happens, it has to be something bad happening from that side. Mm-hmm. So they have to create this problem, and they'll never be satisfied. Look at Don Lemon was complaining about the wonderful ceremony that they had for Charlie Kirk, and he said, oh, it's like religious intolerance. No one is making you do anything, Don Lemon, let alone, no one's certainly making you go into work.
Yeah.
Nobody's making you do that. They have his picture at the gates at CNN to make sure he doesn't come in and rob the vending machine. So it shows you they are the radical left-wing group.
Yeah, that's so true. You know, Sean, your publication, The Federalist, is the one that debunked all of these studies saying that it was right-wing violence. If you hadn't done that, I think we'd still be hearing about those studies.
I think we will. I think we're going to hear about them anyway. When you were introducing it, the reason I knew that you were about to say something that wasn't true is that it started with NBC News claims.
Yes.
And I think the reason they do this is they have this cognitive dissonance on one hand, and then on the other hand, I think they actually feel deep shame. Mm-hmm. I think they know what they're doing is wrong. They know it's a lie. And instead of just repenting and asking for forgiveness and telling the truth, they cover their own shame and lies because they feel so bad about it. Deep down, they know they're responsible for it, and they just can't handle it.
Yeah, that's why they rationalize everything. Because if you admit you're wrong, then what else are you wrong about? Everything. It's about your whole filter. Hi, Kat.
Hey.
How you doing?
Not great, honestly.
Really? What's up?
You know, I see this stuff and look, this might be controversial and maybe people will, whatever. I have to be honest. I am at the point in my political analysis career where I'm starting to think that the Amish have a lot of really good points.
Yeah.
I do. It's like the amount of hate and manipulation that I would not see if I didn't have to look at the internet every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, put me on the carriage, keep me pregnant, I'll churn the out of some butter, let's go. I know, to be clear, I'm not sure I really mean that.
Well,
I'm
no,
not sure I really
I
mean
know
that
a guy,
because
Kat.
I don't think I have the upper body strength for churning the butter. I'm pretty sure I'd be kicked out of Amish very quickly. But it stuff can really make you hopeless when you see a horrible tragedy, and then you see people whose first thought is, how can I make sure to not just not, have my side be at fault, but look at the other side and how they're all at fault. And then I'll look at the internet, and then my dumb ass will keep looking at the internet, looking for something that makes me feel better. And the longer you look, the worse you feel. Something I've started doing is making sure the first thing I see every morning, I don't look at my phone. The first thing I see every morning is I go wake my son up and I see him smiling at me.
Yeah.
That is what life is about. That is like, I think that if we want to have any hope as a society, I think that we need to encourage people to just, even if it's for a little bit, just to turn this stuff off, tune it out, and go spend time with your family.
Yeah. No, I do the exact same thing you do. I wake up in the morning and then I drive to your apartment.
To look at my baby.
Yeah. And I climb up the side of your building and I stare at your baby until Cam comes around and hits me with a rake.
Yeah, we got a good thing going.
Yeah. It's all just my way of getting Cam to hit me with a rake. Tyrus, last word to you. What do you make of this? My mic.
Kat might be onto something with this Amish thing.
Yeah.
I got the beard for it.
Yeah.
How do they feel about mixing? Are they cool with that? Like if I promise to build, not, what was the other thing? Pregnate all the Amish women? If I just focus on building stuff and they let me have an ox, I'm in.
Yes.
You might already be Amish.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I think it might be, I don't know. Black thing, I don't know. He is exactly who their verbiage is for. So of course he doesn't belong to anything. He's not a part of anything. These individuals that listen to their words, that's their whole point. They don't belong to anything. So they hold on to something. And then when they get an opportunity to be a part of the world, in his case, he had a relationship, and based off the text messages, it was pretty one-sided. So he thought this massive thing he was doing for his partner was going to somehow change things because he was believed in the things that he was hearing. It's always going to be a lost person.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't belong to anything they want to. So they connect themselves to the extremes because those are the only groups that will return their emails. Those are the only chat groups that will listen to what they have to say. You created these poor bastards with your mission because there's one mission. Everyone keeps talking about why don't the Democrats have policies and this? They don't. The extreme left that's taken over the Democratic Party have one mission: end Donald Trump. They're too far deep. They're not going to change, and they'll just keep going and continuing these things because we've said it a million times in this show. If you say someone's Hitler long enough, you're going to have martyrs come out of the woodworks, and it's always these lost souls. So great journalism that you figured out he had no real connections to anything. No. That's why he went out and shot somebody in cold blood.
He was like, president of the Rotary Club.
He had a vibrant social network.
Yes, exactly.
Because if he belonged to a group, they would have talked him out of it.
Yes, that is so true. That's why suicide bombers, there's only just one in a car.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't really carpool for that.
Yeah, they don't go like, let me try to get somebody else. All right, old joke.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.